You may have heard that you're not really off-roading unless you're rock crawling. Today I'm going to talk about the 6 types of off-roading. The first type of off-roading is overlander, and an overlander is concerned with the destination. Their primary goal is to camp when they get to a particular location off-road. The second type of off-roader is just known as the off-roader. This type is concerned primarily with the trail itself. It's like a video game. They just want to conquer a particular trail and beat it. The third type is the rock crawler, and they are primarily concerned with high clearance obstacles. The fourth type is mudder. As the name implies, they like off-roading in lots and lots of mud. The fifth type is the racer. They like going full bore, full steam ahead as fast as possible off-road. And the last type is the snow wheeler, who's primarily concerned with playing around off-road in snow. So you may have noticed in explaining those 6 different types of off-roading that I didn't mention any difficulty level. And that's kind of the point here, because there's been a trend to suggest that unless someone is rock crawling, then they're not really doing real off-roading and they are somehow doing easy off-roading. That is nonsense. The difficulty rating of whatever type of off-roading you are doing is independent of the type of off-roading that you're doing. Out in places like Moab, where you have large, massive rocks, the rock is so big that the whole trail is essentially a large, relatively smooth and flat rock. Are those people who are off-roading on those huge rocks, are they rock crawling? Yes, they're on a big rock, but it's also easy too. So the term rock crawling doesn't necessarily imply some sort of innate difficulty level. Conversely, out here in the desert, we have trails that look flat and easy. It's just a flat, sandy surface. And they are not rated easy, moderate, black diamond, difficult, or even red diamond extreme. Instead, they are rated skull and crossbones, meaning people die on them every single year. And the irony behind that tragic fact has to do with people underestimating what they think is not a difficult trail. They see a sandy wash and they think they're on an easy trail, and they end up on the news, unfortunately. Things like soft sand and mud are underestimated out here in the desert, and even though the surface is flat, the trail rating is deadly. Out here on our local dry lake, the moment it rains, a lot of rock crawlers come out of the woodwork to go have fun on the dry lake, and they proceed to get stuck in a mud trap of death. It is horrible. They underestimate what that dry lake bed trail is, because in their minds it's just a flat surface. It's easy. And what happens is they all get stuck, and somebody on giant mudding tires, those look like tractor tires, not your all-terrain tires, which aren't really off-road tires, but somebody has to come out in legit swampers and rescue tons of people who have trapped themselves on the dry lake bed covered in mud, thinking it was an easy trail. I think the term rock crawling is a little bit less accurate than what it really is, or what people really think when they think of rock crawling. I think of boulder climbing. That's more of what I think people conceptualize rock crawling insofar as a difficulty level. If that rambling didn't make any sense, what I'm trying to say is rock crawling is truly high clearance stuff, where the vehicle has to be high enough, whether through lift or giant tires, to clear an obstacle that can't simply be straddled or climbed over, at least relatively easier in the context of all the other trail difficulty levels. But again, the type of off-roading you're doing has nothing to do with its difficulty level or if it can be deadly or not. Example, overlanders love to go on beautiful scenic shelf roads in the mountains. And that's tragically where a lot of overlanders can tumble off the mountain. The trail itself is supposedly considered or conceptualized as an easy shelf road, but there is a danger of the shelf road itself. And therefore, when we look at off-roading holistically, you'll come to a realization that it's all dangerous one way or the other. And there's nothing really more dangerous or more difficult or more this or that or more real off-roading versus this other type of off-roading. It's all off-roading. The concept of off-roading difficulty also changes when we talk about off-road racing. Those are the people who like to go, again, full speed ahead, either out here in the desert or wherever. And their concept of difficulty is how fast they get through the trail. So you have that whole element as well. Stuff like snow wheeling on a basic flat trail turns into a whole nother animal when it's covered in 2 feet of snow. So all forms of off-roading are real off-roading, and the difficulty level has nothing to do with, again, the type of off-roading. And of course, you can mix and match. You're not limited to any one. I'm an overlander, I'm an off-roader, I'm a rock crawler, I'm a racer, whatever. You can mix and match and do whatever you want. But those are the general 6 types of common off-roading. So don't get caught up in the terminology and the labeling of what's real, what's not, what's extreme, what's not extreme. We've seen it all out here at all supposed difficulty levels. And in fact, as mentioned earlier, it's always the easy stuff that usually traps people or worse, kills them. You might look at things like the Rebel Rally, the all-female off-road rally, and you see their desert course out here, and you go, oh, they're going easy on the women. It's just an easy trail. I could assure you it's nothing but miles and miles of deadly sand trap. And what they're doing out there in the Rebel Rally is the real deal. In fact, the majority of off-road recoveries that we do out here with this Lexus GX460 has to do with those easy, flat trails that have soft sand in them. Those are the ones that kill people. A true off-roader respects all 6 types of off-roading and off-roaders and what challenges and dangers and learning experiences that can bring. So keep it in perspective, go out there and have fun, and again, don't get caught up in any sort of terminology. Off-roading is not what you drive, off-roading is what you do. You can rock crawl a Honda Civic in Moab for miles. Likewise, you can get stuck in a monster truck out here in the desert before you have enough time to even know what hit you. The fun of off-roading comes in its unpredictable nature, and all 6 forms of off-roading definitely provide that unpredictable factor. Now, I know at the beginning of this video I said there's only 6 types of off-roaders. I lied. There's actually a 7th, and so rare is this 7th type of off-roader that you'll probably never see them out on the trails. The elusive keyboard off-roader. Yes, this type of off-roader is concerned primarily with telling you what you need to buy or add to your off-road vehicle before it's capable of going on any quote-unquote real trails. They'll have a shopping list for you. You need to have such and such 4-inch lift, 50-inch such and such tires, such and such air lockers, such and such portal axles. The list of nonsense goes on. Of course, the keyboard off-roader only off-roads in their imagination. So be aware of that type and take anything that they have to say with a grain of salt.